Thank you everybody for joining in. The topic is interesting today because it's not, it does not sound very high tech like a self-driving car. But one of the big realizations of this century is nudging helps, reminders help. I think we all know that reminders help. We remind people around us all the time. But what we did not realize was what AI could do in terms of amplifying the scope and the role of reminders or nudging in a business context. And I think what we want to do is, it's a short webinar today for about 30 minutes, and I'll do the first part where we'll discuss some of the numbers in terms of how do you do this enterprise reminder cadences, and what's the impact in terms of numbers. And these numbers are third-party numbers that we have. And then Nilufar will run on four specific case studies of our customers who've used our platform Zoe for that. So let me begin. So the big number we're talking about is 4.2x, Amy, 4.2. And what it essentially means is that if you had 10 people who were taking actions on their own without a reminder AI automation, you would have 4.2 times that amount of people taking actions.
Wow, yeah, that's a good number.
Yeah. And these reminders or nudges could be different kinds. There could be a sales campaign, a lead campaign. These could be part of an e-commerce process, like when you drop off from your checkout cart, or you don't complete your checkout cart, or it could be an incomplete form with your bank or with your insurance company.
Yes.
Or it could be an admissions counselor who's trying to, reach out to all prospect students and make them complete their applications. So literally the use cases are endless.
Yeah, there's so many ways that this tool can be used.
Absolutely. And underlying this, Amy, what we're really trying to do is understand: can you persuade people for conversion? And I know it's at the borderline of annoying people and being spammy, but I think most of us realize that spam rarely works. The key thing here is that the person on the other side of the fence, so say you are the process lead here in the company, and these are all potential people. The difference is that they have all showed some form of interest, or they have left a process in between. So it's not as much as a cold campaign as much as it enabling people to go over the fence and complete. And again, if you're talking about one or two people, then you could probably do it every day manually, right? But when you're talking about scale, when you're talking about hundreds of people, when you're talking about thousands of people, and when you're talking about hundreds and thousands of people, which is entirely possible in case of e-commerce, it's not humanly possible.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
I think,
we've kind of, from a sales perspective, we've all kind of had our leads in front of us and had a plan, but then having the time to stick to that plan and to follow them through accurately and successfully is really quite difficult. So to have a bot do it for you like Zoe is just, I think, essential in the process of converting leads.
And I think one of the important thing is this third part, which is precision, which essentially means it's personalized, and it will make a decision for each contact. So it'll stop when it needs to stop.
Okay.
It'll continue when it needs to continue, and it's not like a mass campaign, right? So that's a specific thing. And let me move on. So essentially the question here is, can AI-based reminders increase your conversion? Right? Can they increase conversions? So this is, again, I promised I will do less opinion and more data today. So so what you see here is how the contact rate. So let's say if you had, so what this essentially means is that if you had a process where you had just one reminder, which is what probably, let's say you went to a bank, or it could be a survey, it need not be a sales transaction all the time. And I think when you go out, say you check out from a restaurant or a hotel, it's a very, it's quite common for you to receive a request for a survey from, say, booking.com or expedia.com or something like that,
Hmm.
right? So what it is showing is that when you increase the number of follow-ups, what's the entire contact rate? How does it increase as you increase? And you can see a steady increase till the seventh follow-up or the seventh reach out, and then
Yeah.
of course it begins to decrease. So earlier I was talking to you that what my experience has shown is that, most of the magic responses, people who you would never imagine response, comes between the fourth and fifth.
Yeah.
That's been my personal experience. And this is across all forms of campaign, B2C, B2B. Um, so, so you're looking at a massive, imagine if you just left at the first one, you would be missing out on a whole lot of subsequent conversions. And this
Of
is, of course,
course.
it means 39% of the balance, right? So, so there is still a lot of, you probably, you're talking about, so in entirety, what we see is that from 2 to 7, or indeed from 2 to 12, you're seeing essentially is 4.2x on an average. Uh, that's what it means. It means
Sure.
if you collected all of these additional ones, they would be 4 times more than if you just had a one reminder.
Hmm.
And some people don't even have one reminder. So so if they left a shopping cart, or if they did not respond, they don't even have one reminder.
Yeah.
So at a
And that is
minute,
it's really helpful from a for the receiving end as well. If you've left something in your cart, or you've
yeah,
forgotten, you have the intention of wanting to fill out
yeah,
the rating, or give the feedback, but you're caught at the wrong time, or you don't have the time when the first reminder is sent out,
right,
then it's really really good to get that second, third, fourth reminder, and you may catch that person at just the right time, where they have the time um to respond, or they might really appreciate that reminder. And
yeah.
I think it's
I mean,
great.
just imagine, a university, and now not everybody is an Ivy League, right? So there lots of universities who are dependent on a healthy amount of enrollments. Now they get, across the year, they get emails, and they get inquiries from students from across the world. Now, most often either they respond or they don't. But just imagine if if they could enroll 4 times as much applications just based on a reminder system, just based on a nudging system. Now, it would be a great thing for the finances of so many educational institutes, right? When they can have, and especially in these times when the top universities are all okay, but there is a big volume of extended education. There's a big volume of optional education. There's so many formats, right, where they would benefit. So this is a huge wake-up call,
Yes.
what we see here. Now, the other thing to really note here is that we're not really talking about, say, somebody is reminding for admissions, or somebody is trying to remind donors that they need to complete the pledge. We're not talking about the same channel, because I think same channel indeed uh, gets into the sort of blind spot for most people. So if you keep emailing 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you're not going to change, it does not, it does not create that stir.
Hmm.
So many campaigns, we recommend that you alternate. You do your email, but then of course it has to be allowed based on regulations. Uh, but in so
Sure.
many campaigns it's allowed, because as I said, the person is already coming to you with intent. They are giving their phone numbers, they are giving their email addresses, etc. So if
Yeah.
you alternate, first email, second text, maybe an email again, then you
Hmm.
send a handwritten note. It's very hard. So what we really want to know is that we want to get a clear no. We're not the fact is, most people don't say no. Some people say no, and which is great, because if somebody clearly said, I am not interested in studying in your university, or I am not interested in donating to your nonprofit, or I am not interested in buying those extra pair of jeans, if they said a clear no, that would be great, because then
Yeah.
it means that, then it's, we're not talking about when they say no and you keep pestering them,
Hmm.
why, let me convince you. those days are long gone. You cannot do that. And I think in many countries there are regulations to protect you from doing that.
Yeah.
We are trying to get people who are in the sort of no yes, no no zone.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. And so,
Yeah.
in terms of the reminder channels that we can see here, have you noticed over your developments and the time that you've been using Zoe? Have you noticed a pattern in which you is most successful? So, would you start maybe with an email and then go to a different channel? Is there a set pattern, a set order that you would tend to go in that you have found is most successful?
Yeah, I think what I've seen, and I've not only I've seen as a campaign or as a vendor or implementer, but also as a person who's been subject to. And in the US, this is very, you really feel it because you get this. So I've had, for example, uh, you know, uh, like cups of coffee and things land up on my desk with a handwritten note. I've had people, calling, texting, so I've seen that. So I think what I've seen is that you probably start with the regular channel, and regular channel based on which product, which company. It could be either email or text. You start with the regular channel, and the second one you amaze them. You sort of shock and awe, if you like, in a good way, in a good sense. And the
Stand out. You
second
want to stand out.
yeah, and the second could be a handwritten note. So suddenly you see, oh, and now what people do, in fact, they are going one step forward. When they're really qualified and it's a big conversion, they're spending up to $100 by attaching even gifts with the handwritten note. And that could be a free Starbucks card, or that could be I've got things like a whole set of pair of socks, for example. uh, you know with the I've got branded cups, things of that nature. Sometimes you get a bottle of wine, sometimes you get chocolates, and then a handwritten note. And essentially what it does is that it's hard to not say anything.
Sure.
It's all right to go and say, okay, thank you so much, I'll enjoy your coffee, but I'm not interested. That's a great thing to tell someone, right? So imagine, if somebody is trying to make a decision between joining. So as let's go back to the education context for a bit. Someone who's going to spend, say, say $30,000, $40,000 a year, or even more, uh, let's say in high school, right? Or they might be spending, say, $10,000 to $15,000 for a couple of weeks as a executive education, say in Cambridge, or in Stanford, or in Berkeley, etc. So what I'm trying to say is that for that kind of budget, most people have options. you know so if you're trying to get into an executive leadership course or a summer course, or you're trying to learn, say, programming, or you're trying to learn cooking, or you're trying to learn art, or you're trying to learn whichever, there's always a competition. Now sometimes that competition is worth many tens of thousands of dollars a year, many tens of thousands of dollars, could be as high as $50,000 a year. In UK, that would be what, something like 30,000 pounds a year. um, and and the students, or the people who are trying to make a decision, that's if for example they just, if the so-called millennials, or the so-called, if they got something that truly amazed them, you know it it's a big revenue gain,
Sure. Yeah, that's
especially if you
definitely
have
very persuasive and
yeah,
makes the business stand out and
yeah,
definitely makes you want to spend time finding out more about them.
absolutely. So to answer your question, what I've seen is that alternating between something which is a regular form of communication, like email or text, if text has been your predominant form, and then alternating that, maybe do two of that, and then surprise them with a handwritten note, or
Mm.
surprise them with a text, helps in getting a response.
Sure. And
Definitely.
with little gaps in between, you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
found set gaps that are helpful.
Yeah, of course, it's not that you're not badgering them every hour, because then they would block you and probably complain.
Of
But
course.
in Nilufar's case studies, you'll see that we had this one company that sells lead scanners to exhibitors, and this was for a large expo that happens in Vegas, every January, where there were 3,000 exhibitors. And exhibitors typically, if you know, they have this lead scanner that they use to scan badges, right, for attendees.
Yes.
But they have to hire out those scanners, and those are optional. So, and each scanner could cost anywhere from $500 to $5,000, based on number of booth staff that you have. Now, if you do a quick math, you're talking about $3 to $4 million of discretionary spending by these 3,000 exhibitors. So they actually ran a whole Zoe campaign of converting them, and they were amazed because, they started getting, they could not even call people at that speed to get that responses, because they were able to do that follow up, and they again started noticing by the third one, some people were saying, what's a lead scanner? What do I do with that? Or do I really need it? Or, yeah, I was looking for it. I didn't know how to get it. Can you please call me? In fact, what we were doing in that, and I'm doing some of Nilufar's job here, is they were actually inserting at the whole e-commerce link. So if you're satisfied, then you actually go and complete your purchase right away. And our bot was integrated to the e-commerce. So we have an API stack that integrates with your backend, which essentially means that if they complete the transaction, then the reminders stop.
I see.
You don't want the reminders and campaigns to continue, but it would stop only for that person. And that's where AI comes into the picture, when it can understand unique responses and take unique actions rather than have a templated, one-to-many campaign.
Yeah.
So this is just an example. Actually, it's a real example where you see this is the first email on 12th November, second one on 16th November, so and so forth. There were 4, and there was actually a response back from a lead. So which is pretty amazing. The fact that if you did not do that, you would not have got this response. So,
Of course.
and again, this is showing an example where you can mix text. You need not be all email. You can mix text, and of course, if you can up your budget, you can have handwritten notes, and these handwritten notes are written by an AI system. So you choose a template, and sorry, let me, and it gets it gets sent automatically. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. And you said that there's kind of a template to go by, and then you obviously personalize that, and then the bot will learn and keep going with that itself. Yeah.
Yeah, so it uses the traditional mail merge, right? So your name is replaced and all of that.
Yes.
But it does not feel like it's written by a machine. It feels like somebody wrote it by hand. Now that's fine if you have to send it to 10 people, but what if you have 10,000 of these to be sent? Now it's very hard for somebody or a group of people to write 10,000 postcards by hand.
Sure.
I think most of us have even forgotten how to write, with the digital.
Very bad handwriting I have now.
Yeah. It probably doesn't look like what we are seeing on the screen right now.
Sure.
Mine looks very, very, very different, and you may not want to do that. So.
Me too. And this feels a lot more personal. Getting a handwritten note. That's right.
And then imagine you get a call next day. Hey, I'm Amy, and I hope I'm not bothering you. I sent you a card yesterday. I know you've received it, because then you get a notification from FedEx that you've received it.
Okay.
And again, that can be piped into your Salesforce. So what we do is we connect to all CRM systems. So all the communications that is being sent to a lead is stacked in the CRM.
So I see. So it's logged for people to monitor and see the progress. Yeah.
And you can also see if you have sent a card, you have sent a gift, you also see that they've received it. So when you call them, you have a context.
Sure.
So this is just an example, right? So 7 seems to be the magic number, where you mix and match different kinds of things, and you're going after a reminder campaign. This is pretty self-evident, but just imagine doing this manually for 100 people. I'm not even talking about 1,000 people. Just doing it for 100 people.
Exactly. So by doing it manually, you need to set aside quite a bit of time to do this.
But even if you have a dedicated, it's just personalizing that takes so many branches. Like,
Yeah.
for example, you could start out, okay, let's say on step one it's easy because you're sending the same thing.
Mm.
Now imagine in step two, 10 of those you've spoken to them or they've responded saying either don't bother them or they've asked for more information. Now you need to make sure, okay, these are the people I need to respond. Now, some people in step three say this and they want this, and step four they do not respond. So it's not feasible to take care of that many permutation combination.
Yeah,
And
exactly. I think it's such a useful tool, and it's a no-brainer. Like, just having this done for you is so much better.
yeah, absolutely. And this actually shows impact. So for example, having more than three media types is optimal. And what I mean by media types is essentially the channels, right? so
Okay.
so out of and seven seems to be the optimal number of the number of follow-ups that you should have in general. Of course, some industries might do with five, and some might be okay with 12, and those 12 could be spread out for 6 months. So when you spread it out over 6 months, it doesn't look that aggressive at all.
Yeah.
But if it's a time bound ticket, let's say for an event, then of course you're going to miss the show. So it's probably going to be one every day, and then you're going to get a call, an SMS, etc., that, oh,
Mm.
you've paid. What we always think that a cadence for follow up or a nudge is to sell. But could you imagine if you put the same thing for customer service? So you're not
Mm.
really trying to sell. Somebody said you owe money to somebody, a refund, and they are yet to give you your banking detail, as an example, or their postal address, or any form of information that you need to complete the refund.
Yes.
Now imagine if, as a customer, I got a reminder cadence to give me back my money.
Mm.
I would, my respect for you would tremendously grow, because this person or this company is chasing me, because let's say I return my tickets and I'm supposed to get a refund, but they have to give me a proper, you know, uh, data to get that, and they are chasing me,
Mm.
and then they're chasing me on email, and then suddenly I get a call, and then I get a text. I would be saying, wow, they, they are chasing me to give me money back.
Yeah.
That totally amplifies and really starts converting you from a customer to a fan, customer to a devotee, in a way,
Mm.
to a fanatic devotee, to an influencer.
Mm.
So if you flip it around, when you convert it to customer service, it changes the whole game.
Yeah.
Even, and not just customer service, even when you're doing, say, customer success, when you're trying to get somebody's project, let's say somebody is supposed to give you some inputs, let's say a logo design or feedback,
Mm.
and you're following them up to make sure that they do that. So that's roughly some of the numbers, some of the use cases, and with that, I'll hand it over to Nilufar to give a brief but concrete examples of some of the campaigns she's run using Zoe. So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid.
I'll stop my share, and then you
Yes.
could share. Yeah, thanks.
Great. Thank you, Sid. That was really helpful to understand the whole process and how it works. Thank you. And
Absolutely,
over
thank you.
to you, Nilufar.
I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll be talking about specifically about four case studies that we have worked on, and they were really successful in terms of the conversion rate and etc. So let me just walk you through. So I'll be talking about these four categories. Basically, first is a non-profit organization where we had run sex campaigns for completing for collecting the pledges that were being made during an event. And the second one is I'll be talking about event registration and um, a lead retrieval solution provider who sells basically lead scanner or beat badge scanner to exhibitors, and how Zoe helped them in upselling those products. And the third is I'm going to talk about the financial services, how they can, use reminder AI to nudge for, incomplete credit application or any cart amendment that happens. And the fourth case study is basically going to be related to an online graduate school, how they use reminder AI to enhance the course signups. So let's just start with the first one. So this is the non-profit organization where they had this fundraising event for their research foundation, where the donors would typically text into a bot, donating the gift amount with a message and some um, message and everything. So how Zoe helped them was during the event, when a donor used to pledge, like, I want to donate so and so amount in memory of my sister or someone like that, the bot used to respond back with a payment URL where you can go and just type, fill out the details and make the payment. But what they had noticed that during the event, the pledge completion rate was pretty much low. So most of the more than 80% of their payment collection actually happened post event. And what Zoe used to do was automatically identify the pledges that were yet to be completed, and it used to load the donors into a campaign and would immediately start the campaign 24 hours after the event was over. And Zoe used to follow up with the donors every week until the pledges were completed. So this helped them to, raise fund post event, and it showed a tremendous amount of success in terms of raising funds after the event was completed. So this is the first use case. The second one,
that's amazing.
yes, yeah. Okay. The second one is what I think Sid already spoke about, was the lead retrieval solution provider, where they were selling bat scanners to the exhibitors. So they had used Zoe to, follow up with the exhibitors who have signed up for the events. So how it used to work is, once they have signed up for the event, Zoe would automatically start the campaign, and would follow up with all the exhibitors, and would continue to follow up until the event is going to start. So what used to happen is, just before the event, they used to give some special discounts, like, it's like, it's one day before the event, if you sign up now, you would get 20% discount, or so and so forth. So that really helped them to sell the lead scanner devices to more than 20,000 exhibitors. So there were campaigns was running all the year through to sell these bad scanners. So what Zoe used to do, once they have signed up for the service, it would automatically stop the Cadence. So it was directly integrated with the CRM system, where once they have signed up for the service, it would automatically stop the Cadence. So that is the beauty, where it was a one end-to-end integration, where starting from the registration of the exhibitors to the events, and then following up with them till they can pursue them to buy the scanners, and then stop the Cadence once the scanners were bought by them. So this was really helpful for them to sell the bat scanners.
Absolutely.
Then the next case study is basically related to retail industry, where typically we see that we land up going to visiting a lot of e-commerce site, and we just add items to our cart, and most of the time we just abandon the cart, right? We don't complete the transaction, and we just leave it there. And sometimes we also wait for, like, if the prices are going down, and if any offer is coming up or any sale is coming up, then we might we would go ahead and complete our transaction. So this is where reminder AI helps a lot to win back the card amendment customers, where you can just send a follow-up, where you can just say that, hey, this product is in offer, and you can just go ahead and buy it right away with a very good call to action button, where you can just see that, okay, the prices have reduced, and you can just go and buy the product straight. So this really helps in
very useful.
Yeah, so this is something which we all notice in our e-commerce thing, where we typically go and add a lot of items to our cart, but we don't actually buy them, right? So
Definitely.
this
And
is
it's, sorry, go.
yeah, yeah. So this is something which AI reminder can be very helpful to follow up with those customers and help them and get you the deal. So the last case study is basically an online graduate school where Zoe helped in scaling up their admission process. So since it was an online graduate school, so you can just enroll and start your a course any time of the year. There wasn't a particular schedule that the course is going to start. You can just sign up and just start your course. So they used to have thousands and thousands of applications coming in all throughout the year. So how Zoe helped in enhancing the course sign up was, first of all, the initial the queries, the FAQs that you might be having about a course, like you want to know how what are the course available and what are the schedules, and is there any tuition fee, and what is the scholarship options that we can opt for. So these are the basic FAQs and repetitive questions which Zoe can easily help the candidate with, without any admission staff intervening the process. So this was very helpful. Like in this example over here, you can see, like this candidate is specifically talking about, like, if there is any scholarship option that they can have a look at, and Zoe immediately responds with a mail saying that you can speak to our finance team to discuss your financing option. And also you can see there are very important call to action, where you can also schedule meeting with a education advisor, so which would help you to decide whether which course you would like to go for and what are the options that are available for you. So this entire process actually helped them to personalize the experience of the student in terms of the information that they were looking for. And also it provided much faster response. And also they had an element of a chatbot over here, where you can just quickly a link to the chatbot was also provided in the email itself, where you can just quickly go and get your answers right, like these are the course material, and this is the campus, and this is how you can enroll, these are the options available. So this was a very fruitful campaign, which really helped them to enhance the course sign up. And also there was one more thing which they were really particularly wanted to know, like all these inquiries, they wanted to understand if they're still interested in the school, and enroll and wanted to enroll. So we had this call to action, where we would politely ask, if you're not interested in this course anymore, you can just place this unsubscription request, where we would take the request and immediately connect it to their CRM, and would say that they are no longer interested in this course. They have enrolled for a local university where they can have an in-person class, or they cannot they are no longer interested. So this really helped them to understand, like, okay, these are my leads where I should be following up and engage my education advisor to pursue them the course, and these are the candidates who are no longer interested, and this should be stopped. So this was a important information which helped them to plan their admission process. So
Right.
yeah, so that's all about the use cases. Amy, over to you.
Absolutely. That's, yeah, it's really, really interesting to see just exactly how Zoe can be used in so many different ways, and convert leads, whether it's sales or from a different angle. It's really great. I think it's a fantastic product and essential. Really, it's a no-brainer that this can dramatically save you time and effort and money as well. I think it's a really great product. And if anybody would like some more information or would like to set up a demo, and talk about how this can be, of personal benefit to your business, then you can email us at hello@webspiders.com, or you can visit the Zoe website to set up a consultation there, and we can talk you through exactly how this can be used. But thank you, Nilufar, and thank you, Sid, for presenting and explaining everything you've explained to us today. Sid, would you like to add anything?
No, all good, all good. Thanks so much. And we welcome any personalized demos. I think this is a great strategic asset that's often overlooked, um, and we are clearly seeing massive size returns for all the customers that we're working with on this, and we're happy to set up one-on-one meetings, and they can book the demo directly by going to webspiders.com or zoepod.ai. So with that, thank you, Nilufar, for your time today. And again, Amy, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you both too.
Till
And thank
next
you
time.
for everyone tuning in.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.